like for example, old 11X getting like super farmed early, and if Zai is able to rotate early and disrupt that, it could be in for a lot of trouble.
Okay, prediction time. We've got less than a minute before the draft. Anyone got a coin?
I'm going to go 2-0.
I'm going to go
2-0 EHOME.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm also 2-0.
Stop copying Shane, Stevie.
I was last time, right? And I was choosing first.
Last time I was right too.
Yeah, but then I chose first. You followed me.
And they both followed me, so
Oh,
when it comes to it.
But you said 2-1.
Yeah, that's true.
okay.
Look, I'm wearing my Swedish colours.
Yes.
I'm going to believe in the lone Swedish player left in the tournament,
Yes.
in Zai.
Yes.
I think EG are going to take it.
Really? Score?
2-1 maybe. I think it's going to be close. 2-1.
2-1 maybe.
Oh look, I'm going to go with
Come on.
EG. I went against.
You either go
against them
2-0, you gotta believe fully or not at all. Come on, believe
All
in
right.
EG.
Thank you very much to all of our panelists. We'll hear more from them after our first draft of our final series.
Reserve time.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for our last series of day number 3 and what some may consider the main event of day 3. It's EG taking on EHOME. I'm back at my drafter's desk with some friends here. We got Winter, Black, and Waga back in action, gentlemen. This is going to be awesome. Early impressions about the matchup: East versus West, reigning champions versus these new wild card up-and-comers.
Everyone had a lot of expectations when they entered the wildcard, so they didn't perform as well as everyone expected in the wildcard, but they showed up here in the main event and the group stages. So far, they've been so impressive.
Absolutely. Black, what about for you?
Well, EG right now is probably the tournament favorite again, so it's going to be very hard for EHOME. Although they've had an impressive showing, I'm not sure whether they can pull it off this time.
Yeah, I'm just very happy to see Parker. He knows what's up. You know, we gotta go for the remaining Swede.
Okay.
You know, a lot
You guys
of
are
Swedish
biased.
players.
Let's
Yeah.
relax over there.
I think EG got this though. They're looking amazingly strong.
Yep. Let's see how things do settle in as we look. Already a draft underway, yeah. So we got Mirana and Axe for EG, something a bit more traditional, while EHOME, they get the Jug first pick, and then they go right for a Warlock, and then follow it up with Ogre.
Yeah, we're already so far into the draft actually. There's a lot of stuff that happened here.
Yeah, the Warlock that they ran the last time, it was played by Old Chicken in the mid lane. So EHOME did run a core Warlock during one of the group stage
They
games.
also ran a support Warlock on Fenrir. Like both.
Oh yeah? Oh, okay, so there was 2 games.
Yeah. They actually really like the Warlock. They like to put on a lot of pressure with the map. Actually, the new Golem plus the healing ward is like incredible pressure. As soon as you drop that Golem, you get 1 tower for sure, maybe even 2.
Yeah, what you want to have against though is heroes that can engage and then disengage safely. So Mirana works pretty well in that regard, but they need more heroes. Axe is very full committal, and that's dangerous against the Warlock.
Does Warlock still have that problem though where, you know, he could be very cooldown dependent? If you don't make that rock count, you could be stuck on the sidelines waiting until things are back up?
That's how EHOME plays though. They play around their team so much. Team fight, they take towers, they take objectives, they play around together so much. So I think Warlock, being a long cooldown hero, has its weaknesses, but it suits EHOME's playstyle.
And it's super smart bans in the second phase by EHOME. They remove exactly those heroes that are needed against Warlock. You see Morphling, he can jump in and then replicate out. Same for Storm Spirit, can jump in, kill one guy, get out again. They're trying to remove this playstyle so that EG are forced to take that hard fights.
That's a very good point there.
Yeah, and on top of that, they also banned the Elder Titan, one of the only heroes who can actually safely cancel his like upheaval from the back. I think you really need a hero that can also stop it slow, because he just stands there for like 18 seconds and you can't move at all. It's just like a little separate field where you can't fight at all because you get slow by like 30% every second.
EG move into the Shadow Demon. This feels like the obvious pickup. I'm actually almost surprised it just wasn't banned.
It's the Liquid combo again. SD, Mirana, Axe.
Sanking.
First 3. Yeah, we saw these heroes being played again in the previous series. But we'll see here. I'm not sure yet for EG with these heroes where they're going against the Warlock, because you need to... Maybe they're just going to punish early game really hard before it gets level 6, because that's what they have right now. Heroes that can fight early on.
Okay, like I haven't seen it before, but can you Bloodlust the Rock? Because
Yeah.
they would be massive.
Why you wouldn't?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
you
can bloodlust BKB heroes. So.
I mean, if you can Bloodlust
Bloodlust
the Rock,
towers.
that Rock is gonna be like huge.
It's evil as well. Yeah, you care about the type. Okay, alright.
That's a big
I thought you were
rock.
gonna say he's fast and he can kill down
I mean,
the
he's
supports,
fast. He hits
but,
like for 200 every hit, where you get like the flaming fists.
but he's
So,
huge. That's
I mean, huge is good.
What if EHOME got a Legion Commander then? Followed it up even a little bit more love for the Rockman.
Just buff him even more.
Buff him even more.
The Lava Man story.
Why wouldn't you just buff the Juggernaut?
Because he's not a rock. God damn it, Winner.
I mean, Ogre can buff both.
why not get Tiny then Dakota? Isn't that better?
Ooh, the Rockman strat. I can dig it.
I feel this is a very deep analysis of the game.
Well, do we think though it's a support Warlock or a core one this time? Because Fenrir played it and they had like a 53k gold lead in that game.
It really depends on the game though, what type of game they want to play. If you want to play faster pace, I think a core Warlock would suit that playstyle more. You want a Warlock to get more levels and get the Aghanims refresher.
Yeah, and as soon as you like hit level 6, you want to drop the rock in mid lane, just take the tower.
Don't you, Winter, feel that it's going to be hard though to lane a Warlock against heroes like SD and Axe who can come in? I feel it's safer to have him on support, and even if you get a little bit later ulti, at least you're not going to have that potential to get shut down in lane.
I mean, yes, but they have the Ogre to roam around to pressure as well. So I think EHOME definitely had the tools to help stabilize his early game and just to make sure that he doesn't die in the laning phase.
That's true. Yeah, Ogre is really great at just staying on the high ground.
And
Never
they recently buffed the Warlock Rock as well, like the Aghanims one. If you actually get Aghanims refresher, it just seems like an impossible task to ever teamfight. Like, they literally just do like 1000 burst damage if they all get like a Flaming Fist proc.
I actually don't like the Aghanims for Warlock this game at all, because against Axe Mirana, they die really fast. The golems, they disappear, and also Axe with a call, the golems die. If you buy Aghanims, you cut the HP in half for your golem, and I've seen them just die in the previous game where they did it.
But that got buffed recently. I think they all with Aghanims now have like 1k plus health. It's actually like quite a lot.
Yeah, I'm not sure though. I'm not feeling the love for it.
I mean, personally, I am not like a Warlock player. I really don't know how strong or how weak they are. I just know whenever they hit me, I just die.
Yeah. Spoken like a true carry.
Yeah, I mean, it's true.
He must be good.
250 damage? Like, okay, I died.
It's not super shocking damage anymore though, because it's always doing the AoE damage. It's not a low percentage to massive damage
It's
anymore.
60%, I think. That's actually quite massive. I'm not entirely sure. I think it's 60% got buffed recently as well.
No, I think they made it more steady, didn't they? To make it always be the same damage.
I think so though. I remember something along those lines.
Yeah, well, it always does the AoE.
Yeah, he always does the
Every
AoE
hit?
now.
Every
Yes,
hit.
yes.
But it's not crazy.
Yeah, confirm not Warlock player. We forgive you that.
Look at this pickup here. Fourth pick for EG is actually the Faceless Void. So now, gentlemen, we have an active Faceless Void. Who's going where? Who's playing what? EG showing a little bit of flexibility now.
I mean, this looks like a support Mirana or support X. I'm not entirely sure yet.
Wasn't there a game a while back Sumail even played Axe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But usually he plays the Mirana solo mid. Like he introduced that like Shiva's Guard Blink Dagger build. That
But
was
Zaya's also played Mirana in a poor position too.
Oh yeah, like I'm not entirely sure who's gonna play what there, but they could also run a really greedy jungle axe with a Shadow Demon support.
I mean, it all depends on how they think that they can pull the laning phase off. They want to get good matchups. You want Timbersaw probably to go against the range hero. You don't want the Void or the Axe to go.
And to make it more flexible, they also played carry Void and offlane Void, so
yeah.
they have a lot of options.
Is there something to that, like a captain being able to set themselves in a position like this where you're 4 picks deep and you have so many options that by the time you see like the 5th pick from your opponents, you could do anything you want? Is that a nice thing to have as a captain? Yeah, for sure.
But it goes for both teams, right? Like look at both lineups, they can do pretty much whatever they want.
I mean, if you have Black on your team, he plays only anti-match Invoker, then you can't draft.
Some people are a bit more one-dimensional, but they're not playing much anymore, so you know it is what it is.
To be fair, those heroes are not getting banned anymore, so I would be pretty valuable.
You would be.
On the panel, you are valuable.
That makes our job just so much harder on this side to be like, oh, well, you know, they could be doing this, but it's also this and this, or maybe that. They've done that once, or that.
I feel EG probably are pretty straight up though that they're gonna do a position 4 Axe offlane Void and just do a mid Mirana. I think that's the most likely to happen. And then of course, if you see something very surprising from EHOME in the, you know, like the Timbersaw came out, but if they saw something really strange, they could have changed it up. Oh, okay. So you do have core Axe.
Yeah, to stop the healing ward. And the OD last ban by EHOME as well. Very good, because it protects the golem. You do bonus damage to summon units.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Well, what are we looking for EHOME? That's like AA pick.
10 seconds remaining.
I mean, it's really good against both Timber, actually against like the whole lineup, pretty much.
Beastmaster is going to be the last pick for
Jungle
EHOME.
Looks like a core Warlock then.
Yeah.
Jungle Beast, offlane, Timbersaw.
No, offlane Beastmaster. 11 is on the Beastmaster.
Right, so it's offlane Beast and support Warlock then. Not running the greedy style.
So based on that kind of setup and situation, who do you got for game number 1?
Well, I think when it comes down to team fight, I think EG has the upper hand, so I'm gonna go for EG here.
I think I'll have to agree with that. I feel they have the like more rounded lineup to just like close it out in the end.
I'm a believer in Zai, and PPD very seldom has a weak draft, actually. I think that's a strong point about EG. They always had a solid draft in the last 2 years, in fact, when he's been captaining. So I'm pretty impressed. I think they have an okay draft here.
We'll see how things do pan out to hop into game number 1 of our final series here for day 3. We have Capitalist and Blitz. Take it away, gentlemen.
Thank you, Dakota. You can't tell, I've got a very loud and very proud American crowd behind me, supporting Evil Geniuses all the way. But what you may not be able to tell is just to my left, there is an equally loud, yet somewhat smaller Chinese crowd backing EHOME. Big crowd favorites on both sides here, but Blitz, who won out in the draft, in your opinion? Because it seems like our analysts backing EG pretty heavily.
I think EHOME can actually take it in the team fights. What it's going to come down to is the mini pickoffs and how the laning phase goes. I feel like if EHOME can roll over EG in the laning phase, then this could be a quick win for them. But for EG, the plan is simple. Fight around the Void Chronosphere as often as you can and try to get a strong laning phase.
Just like that, as the unpause comes forwards, the USA chants begin. No doubt we'll hear plenty of EHOME chants coming in as well. We're going to start things off EHOME, beginning with an early smoke as they start getting...
Oh,
there we go. There it is. The battle of the chants has only just begun.
I like it, man. It keeps it hype.
Oh, absolutely.
Be biased as you want, crowd.
Old 11, smoked up, is already going to lay down some pretty aggressive vision, both blocking away that offlane camp and getting some vision in to that mid lane. No action going to come forwards in our first bit here. Is the Ancient Apparition, we were kind of talking about the EG draft. Would they have enough damage to be able to eat through some of these EHOME heroes? The Ancient Apparition very clearly lowers the threshold of damage required to kill EHOME. Is that enough in your mind?
It depends, because for EHOME, they want to just run past PPD's ultimate. If you allow Ancient Apparitions to get into an Ancient Apparition kind of game, which is everybody sets up for your ultimate, you get it on the single targets over and over again, you blow up core heroes, then it's going to be very dangerous for EHOME. For EHOME to play around that ultimate, it's to push the pace and make that hero useless, because when it comes to the actual team fight, PPD is going to just be sitting back, picking for his opportunities, so largely it's going to be 4v5 and dependent on whether or not his team can hold out for him. And so for AA, laning phase-wise, he's going to be a little bit lackluster. And in terms of teamfight contribution, if EHOME can play fast enough, they can really limit his effectiveness.
But does EHOME have fast enough heroes for it? You've got a Beastmaster and a Timbersaw. Both those cores require quite a large amount of farm before they come online for the mid-game. Are they really going to be able to rush the Ancient Apparition and put EG off guard like they hope?
I think so, because if you're EHOME, what you really want to do is you want to put EG in a position where you have to defensively fire off abilities without really thinking about it too much, just to try to get cores out. And for EHOME, I think they have a lot of their comfort picks. You've got Old Chicken on this Juggernaut. Ice 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 was the original Timbersaw as far as I'm concerned. He was one of the people that was using it in the offlane most frequently when I first started seeing it.
Yeah, there's definitely some crazy offlane Ice 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 clips out there on the Timbersaw. Getting kills 1v2, 1v3 at times. Lanham is going to be our offlaner right now for EHOME as standard Beastmaster play. He's going to be starting off in the jungle with his Iron Talon much faster than even attempting to lane. Even if it is 1v1, Beastmasters will oftentimes just default to the jungle simply because he's able to do it so quickly. So Lanham's going to be attempting to pick up some extra experience by appearing in the offlane. His natural tankiness may allow him to do that just for free without getting punished by the duo of PPD's Ancient Apparition and Universe's Faceless Void.
PPD just going to keep pulling for this lane. This is the correct thing to do when you can't really do much to this Ogre. There's not a whole lot that PPD is going to want to do against this 8 armor Ogre who's got this Windlace. Might as well just let your safe lane carry passively get ahead. And that's what Universe is going to do, and they're going to prioritize this farm quite a lot. As Fear, playing Axe in this lane is doing pretty okay, but Ice 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 making his move forward. He's got that Whirling Death. One more hit should do it.
Close. There it is. First blood for Fenrir. Fear. He's playing the aggressive role with Zai, trying to put some pressure on that Ice 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 Timbersaw with that first spin that Axe is able to put out, but Overstays his...
He's getting a little bit low.
Is he going to be caught as well? They're actually going to battle it out here. Slowed down by the 4. Has another poison. It's up to 3 stacks, but doesn't look like it's going to be enough. A second kill going the way of EHOME, and Old 11 just keeps on trucking, farming away through those neutrals.
That must be such a nice bonus for him. Instead of farming neutrals, he just farms Zai and EG, not off to the start that they wanted. We talked about how the laning phase had to go well for Ice and the crew, and so far, EHOME are performing.
Some uncharacteristic heroes, perhaps for evil geniuses, some uncharacteristic moves, and it's resulting in some mistakes from evil geniuses here in this laning phase. Our mid lane still going all right for EHOME. Old Chicken sitting at 10-4 compared to the 12-3 of Sumail's Mirana. Pretty expected.
Yeah, this lane isn't really going to go one favor another just because of Juggernaut can't really kill the Mirana. The Mirana has some kill potential on Old Chicken, but as long as he plays with that healing ward and that Fairy Fire, he should be just fine. So it's largely going to come down to a CS contesting battle, and Sumail's rotations into the other lane are going to determine a lot for me. In this game, I think this Jug can even make his way bottom quite early. Doesn't have a lot of kill potential, but maybe they can make a move on PPD, zone out the jungle area, and start to get aggressive. We saw in the game against Newbie yesterday, EG, they dealt with that so well though.
Now, what about this Axe versus Timbersaw matchup? Surely this matchup is supposed to go in a way where Axe puts a lot of pressure on Timbersaw early, but he already gave up that early kill, and I don't think it's going to go well for here.
Oh, he took so much! God! That whirling death, and now they're slowly taking away. The Shadow Word will finish him off. A third kill for EHOME.
What? He had like 450 HP. The Fatal Bonds and the Whirling Death just immediately take him down. Fear was not expecting that. Well overrating how much he could tank.
You want to talk about lowering that threshold from the Ancient Apparition? Well, Timbersaw is able to do that so much more on those strength heroes thanks to that Whirling Death. Zai going to be pushed back once again by the double boars. Old 11 is dropping lower and lower, but he's already got his Tranquil Boots thanks to jungling and that early kill on Zai. So he's got the sustain to stick it out in this jungle, and it doesn't look like Zai's going to be able to interrupt him any further.
Yeah, nice. He's content to allow Fear to just farm a little bit because they're getting the kills on him, and you're just fattening him up to slaughter him later. As Fear going to go back, pop this out for himself.
And everywhere I look, on him, he starts going on to PPD, is going to force a rotation out of Universe, should be just fine with its extra movement speed on Bloodlust. Universe chasing him all the way back. He was even able to stop the attempted pull by PPD and threaten his life. Just enough to force out that rotation. Seems like every single lane is being won by EHOME.
This bottom lane is doing okay still in terms of CS, and this mid lane, but at the same time, you're just concerned about these random deaths. EG, they're probably still feeling okay right now. It's still only the laning phase. We've seen how much a team can come back, but they're going to have to do some common things as they're going to have to allow PPD to try to get this fast level 6, but with Universe in this lane, I'd imagine they want to get him his 6 first, then he'll rotate out while PPD just soaks XP.
Zai, not much to do anymore. I imagine he'll have some opportunities to start Shadow Poison sacking the jungle for Axe, as it seems like their off lane isn't going to work any longer. Not now that Timbersaw is level 6 and has that Chakram ready to go.
Yeah, and on him right now, just pulling back the wave. Sumail doing a very good job of keeping up in CS. Just starting to bother him a lot in this lane as Ice pushing out top as EHOME make the full rotation around.
No, the TP in Universe, he's going to show himself, thinking it's going to be okay.
He's not going to like this one.
Damage, but Old 11 shows himself with the smoke, and now we'll get the Primal Roar onto Universe. The save from Zai. Disruption, a momentary respite, but it's not enough. Ice with the burst damage comes through, and they get a big kill on Universe's Faceless Void, who was supposed to be farming away in that safe lane and getting great CS. Now has to take a step backwards in network.
Yeah, we talked about how he wanted to rotate off the lane and try to get PPD that fast level 6, but instead EHOME were well prepared for it as they want to make a move for Zai.
Ken gonna be caught, and Fear may die too.
Oh, they both might go down here.
Away. They take so much damage from that Whirling Death. Sumail coming in with some reinforcements, but they've already lost the tier 1 tower and no opportunity for revenge. EHOME shutting out evil geniuses in this laning phase so far, 5-0.
Sumail gonna bottle Fear up once, just in case he does go down, but he's gonna be fine as he walks away. And Fenrir almost level 5 already. This laning phase has been all EHOME. They just predicted the movement up to top. They got 2 more kills than EG would have liked to give up, as Sumail unable to do anything to respond.
Oh, they're going to try and force out the lead. Old Chicken does have that Omni Slash, but they see Zai and realize with just that one defensive hero, it's not worth diving the tier 1 tower.
And Old Chicken gonna evade that arrow. So far, so good for EHOME. Once again, EG, they're still waiting on this level 6 from PPD at bottom.
Here, he's going to show himself as Olanum. He comes in, tries to interrupt the pull, but it's going to be caught. One spin already up, stun goes down, but he's caught. Ends up getting cold beaten to the spot. And finally, Evil Geniuses get themselves on the board 7.5 minutes in.
They needed that desperately. Just slowing down anything from EHOME, trying to write the game for themselves. He's not the biggest pickoff, but you'll take it right now just to get on the board. PPD nearing that level 6, and I'd imagine that that's all they're waiting on right now. Universe is camped out in mid. Old Chicken, if he's not careful, he could go down to this combo. They don't have a ward here either, and instead, looks like he's going to contest for this top rune. Do EG match him? Might just be a free kill.
Yeah, they're going to have the Chronosphere set up. The arrow going to be on point here. Old Chicken going to be combo stunned. Can he actually live long enough to be able to get off a spin? Doesn't look like it. The stun just lasts too damn long. A second kill going the way of Evil Geniuses. A small windfall. EHOME, they're already planning some retribution. They've got Old 11 and Lanham.
We talked about this rotation.
Goal. Here comes Spear. They're going to be able to catch him with a Primal Roar. Lanham starts beating onto him here, trying to get the Cole off, but not in time. Ice cuts him down to size with another Whirling Death. Now up in the top lane. Fenrir going to be next up. Samael, point blank arrow, lands that one, has the Starstorm ready to go. So Fenrir jukes it in the trees, tries to go for the TP out. Not rare. Samael hunts him down inside those trees and will snag the kill.
Still a core for a support. EG aren't going to be too satisfied with that, especially with how slow this Axe's Blink Dagger timing is going to be. And EHOME just look to continue the pace right now. EG, they're going to have to fight around this Chronosphere. This is a situation they wanted to avoid by trying to give Axe a lot of help up at top with this Shadow Demon, but quickly they realized they couldn't do anything, and now Axe's farming rotation, it's not going to be great for him as he's going to camp this bottom area, but so is EHOME.
Yeah, you wanted to be able to pick up the Blink Dagger right and be able to get ganks every single time Ice Blast is off cooldown.
Yes.
Instead, you're completely reliant on the Chronosphere's cooldown, which obviously much longer at 130 seconds right now at level 1. Not the place that Evil Geniuses wanted to be, because EHOME, knowing that it's purely a Chronosphere, can either read this timing really well and say Chronosphere's up, they're looking for a gank, or they can punish this sort of pace where if EG do get a pick off, EHOME can strike back really aggressively, knowing there's no chance for EG to team fight them without the Chronosphere.
Yeah, this is a very early mid-tier 1 push by EHOME, as they're all going to make their way over, and this is exactly what you want. Connecting to the jungle, creating this area where EG can no longer farm. You can always just starve them out in terms of farm, and limiting their jungle at this point is EG.
Maybe.
Now they're bringing heroes over. This might be too late though.
Axe is going to be Primal Roar. The disruption will buy him some time. He'll come out, but now the Warlock Golem is dropped down, and Fear, he's not that tanky, already down to half HP. Can't quite get over the left. The Ice Blast not going to land either. The Chronosphere will secure the kill, but all that for one kill.
Here comes
Ice in the back line, going straight for PPD. He wants this free kill and a support, and he'll have it too. Also, Universe goes down. Zai's going to be up next. He's trapped between two EHOME heroes.
Oh, he's dodging so far.
Dodge on the chalk rump, but surely not going to make it out. You can't dodge a fire blast from Lanham. 4 down from Evil Geniuses, and
Mel's getting pretty low.
May even be caught here, has forced into the Moonlight Shadow.
Ice, he's gonna clump him!
On point, Timbersod not able to hit the Whirling Death though. Uses it a bit too early. They had the wipe. Ice gets a little too excited though.
Could have just trusted himself, but of course no way for him to know that as Sumail walking between this area. They have that ward available. And this is what we were talking about. EHOME have to play relentlessly, even with that Ice Blast available. You just have to commit to the fight and just hope that EG run out of steam because they don't have that fighting hero. This Axe is not in fighting shape quite yet. Fear has to at least farm that Blink Dagger before he can be effective, and EHOME are taking advantage of that.
So if EHOME is cutting off your Radiant jungle, right, and they've already taken your mid-tier 1 tower, they're controlling so much of the available farm to you on the Radiant side. How do you react as Evil Geniuses? Do you continue to try and fight EHOME and push them out of your own jungle, or do you completely abandon it?
I think you just still have to try to go for farm. As in this jungle, we talked about it, EHOME, they're going to try to own this space of the map as Old 11 trying to burn that mana. Where's the follow-up though?
Universe still being slowed down. Old Chicken coming in. Ready to go, but not able to close the gap.
Yeah, this is so scary for EG because this Axe wants to continue to farm, but every single time it looks like his team is going to get into an engagement, so he quickly has to start backing them up. And Fear, now that he's getting close with Blink Dagger, that's going to be the timing that EG look for to get aggressive once again in this game. And they're going to need it because this map is just being owned by EHOME right now.
Yeah, EHOME are punishing Evil Geniuses for this delayed item timing. They're going to be able to get a tier 2 off of it before the 15-minute marker. And no contest whatsoever from Evil Geniuses. If they get into another bad fight before the Blink Dagger, they're going to be kicking themselves. The Blink is really their only way back in to controlling this mid game. And they don't have the greatest late game either.
If you look at the vision game alone right now, EG, with the vision that they have, they see almost nothing on the map right now. And if you compare it to what EHOME sees, they see everything. They can go for the Roshan for free because they will spot the rotation coming in. They spot 2 heroes up at top. They know where the Faceless Void is as well.
Looks like Lana got caught by the arrow, will be nailed by the Ice Blast, and Zamail will take the kill. Now he cops the Fire Blast underneath the tier 1 tower. And that means he's going to have to TP back to safety. But EHOME, they call it a wash. They say, whatever. Want him? Not that big of a deal. He's our Ogre Magi. He's tanky. He's meant to take a lot of damage. He's meant to go down sometime. We'll take ourselves in Aegis at 13.5 minutes in.
I will say the good news for EG is when it comes to XP, they're not completely out of it. And even gold, this is doable. But they're going to have to start looking for the combination soon, as Faceless Void also doesn't have any farm, as he's been relegated to looking for fights with that Chronosphere. And now Old Chicken, Invisit up at top. Fear's got that Blink Dagger now. This is going to be the first real test for EG.
He reveals himself on TPT, but now he's going to be called up. They do have the Chronosphere. They want to keep Old Chicken from being able to get off the Omni Slash, but they decide against it, knowing they just do not have the physical damage required, and afraid that multiple EHOME members are going to be en route. So they back up, say that it's just going to be a bit of space for Zamail. Now the point blank arrow is going to be leading into an Ice Blast. The first reveal of the Blink Dagger, Fear, and Shadow Demon. Zai will be able to help Zamail in claiming that pickoff, and now putting some pressure on this tier 1 tower. Evil Geniuses beginning to ramp things up.
Yeah, still 2 straight pickoffs only on the Ogre. You want to start getting aggressive on the cores. EHOME smartly only showing the support heroes ever. And this Warlock just sitting back, almost has that Hand of Midas if he wants it. Book 2 completed on Old 11. And EHOME, they want to play around this Aegis. They're going to reset, wait for their Ogre to come back alive. Old Chicken's just going to wait for somebody to push out this top lane. As it seems like EG are reluctant to send anybody up here. They have no vision around this area. Remember, as EG, now they're going to send Zai forward just to kind of poke, see what's going on up there, soak up whatever experience he can. He grabs his level 8.
We've already seen the success of Shadow Demon of being an excellent D-pusher, and will be able to set up certain ganks at times. Old Chicken instantly into the spin, off of the disruption. Not going to chance getting hit by that arrow.
Yeah, look how much of the map right now that EHOME owns. They've got almost all of EG's jungle. They've got their own jungle to work with. They've created this kind of curtain around it. And they can just continue to make these expeditions into EG's base aggressively, as they want this top tier 2 tower. They're going to connect with this Juggernaut right now. They don't quite have Ice, and this might fool EG into thinking there's not 5 up here.
Mail's going to be dove all the way behind the tier 2 tower. He's got an angle. He reads it now, tries to get the leap away, but immediately caught by the Primal Roar, beaten down by EHOME. He Fear. He tries to go in for the response, gets the call, brings Old 11 back into the Ice Blast. But it only clips him, resulting in no real damage. And EHOME, all their members looking healthy now as they go for yet another tier 2 tower.
And this is exactly what we talked about. EHOME want to force that Ice Blast reactively, and they'll just continue to push on past it. Now they're going to connect for this mid towers. Ice. Wasn't even necessary for that top push. EHOME feeling confident all over the map right now, and EG left in a position where they're going to have to set up for something soon. They can still play around this Chronosphere quite successfully, but there is going to be a time period where EHOME just overrun them.
6-11, EHOME looking for that final outer tower in mid lane. Tier 2 gonna go down, at least about to. They're left in deny range. Don't want to risk getting caught by Universe's Chronosphere as he shows himself. And Universe will be the one to take out that final outer tower with the deny. EHOME, they know they are very ahead in gold. Don't need to worry about the net worth difference in that one whatsoever.
And the bigger fear right now for EG is they've got to start getting aggressive outside of their base, clear out the jungle, at least one point in the map. They're reluctant to do so while this Juggernaut has this Aegis, but PPD, got to be careful, getting a little bit too close to those boards.
Even if there was no ward there from EHOME, there's always some extra vision to be found in the Hawk.
They're just taking so many liberties. They know that EG are grouped up as 5, farming camps together, and EG are trying to find whatever engagement that they can, but it's just not offered to them.
Evil Genius is seemingly never going to get a surprise initiation on EHOME at this point, as they are completely out of smokes. So they're gonna have to wait and find a better timing for it, I guess, but all the meanwhile, EHOME are playing one hell of an efficiency game. They are controlling the map entirely, not giving any jungle whatsoever to Evil Geniuses. Even that middle area, because the tier 2 tower is now down, even that area is controlled up by EHOME.
Oh, they're just straight up pushing.
Oh, a little bit too far there from Old Chicken. Gonna be pulled back in. Doesn't nail the Ice Blast though. Old Chicken will eventually go down. That's the Aegis though. He's gonna come back up.
They've got Chrono available.
3 towers. The Chronosphere is gonna be able to lock him back in the moment he shows up. Now the Warlock drops the golem onto PPD and Samael, but already the Juggernaut's down. Response from EHOME, but now they're he stops it right in the tracks. They're going to be able to take down 2, and a third falls from EHOME. Evil Geniuses, they see their moment now. They've got to get as many of these kills as possible to make the response from Fear well worth it. Samael chasing down Fenrir. He has EHOME. Ice is responding with some damage, but he managed to get the Warlock. Samael goes for the 5th remaining hero of EHOME, throws up the arrow. Not going to last though. Ice will survive to fight another day. But this game just got a whole lot more even, as that is almost a 3K gold swing off of Old Chicken's overextension into the base.
And you have to respect that EG high ground. They've got so many different abilities to work with. Look at that call from Fear, saving the fight single-handedly as Sumail, untouched throughout this entire engagement, just starts to chase down EHOME heroes. This is exactly what EG needed to get back into this game.
Evil Geniuses, this was rapidly looking like it was going to be a complete shutout. Based purely on some mistakes in the laning phase, EHOME were giving Evil Geniuses no quarter. No opportunities for a comeback until they went to that tier 3 push in the bottom lane, resulting in one hell of a team fight and potential comeback for Evil Geniuses. EHOME, though, still in control of this game, and even control the map as well. As you can see, Old 11 still taking over that Radiant jungle. On the opposite side, Ice controlling the Dire jungle in the top lane, and the mid-tier 1 tower still up for EHOME as well. Roshan will eventually be picked up, but they have to make sure they don't get picked up first. Fear tries to get it, doesn't manage to snag the initiation, now going to be counter-initiated on, and left for dead as Ice just once more. He pulls back the Chakram eventually to be able to claim that kill on Fear. Looks for Zai, not able to get him just yet. PPD also going to complete his teleport out.
Decent scenario for EHOME as they managed to grab the axe. Thankfully for EG, they weren't able to lose any more heroes on the backs of that, but still EHOME trying to reset into this game. They still have the next Aegis to go for with all the outer tier 2 towers. You'd imagine they want to go for the high ground with this next push. At the same time though, EHOME, they overrated how much that Aegis was going to do for them. They were hoping that EG would have to force the Chrono just to pop that Aegis onto this Juggernaut, but when he went down without the Chrono being expended, that was the best possible case scenario for EG.
EHOME splitting apart. They've only got 2 heroes in this top lane, and they may not be expecting a Moonlight Shadow and Chronosphere initiation. The Ice Blast is going to come in, revealing 2 of the heroes, but it's going to completely whiff. Universe, not seeing his opportunity to initiate, will back out. In fact, immediately teleporting down to bottom lane, where they're going to try and catch Ice with the Chronosphere, and they got him too. PPD load up, but it's going to lend a helping hand to control Ice. No opportunity for a Bloodstone deny here. Universe will claim the kill on Ice's Timber Saw, cutting the Bloodstone charges down to 9.
That was his first death in the game, completely away from the rest of his team. EHOME are just playing a little bit too cocky. Even that bottom tier 3 push, they overrated the Aegis, and now this time around, Ice feels like he's invincible with his hood and the Bloodstone at such an early time, but you've got to respect the combination that EG have. That Chronosphere is almost always going to lead to a kill, as we saw earlier on.
Now forward, Samael, double Starfall on Old Chicken.
He gets him.
Woo! That is so much burst damage. The Ice Blast led the way, and Samael sealed the deal with the blink-in double Starfall.
Sumail, 7 kills already to his name. He is willing EG back into this game as EHOME. They're looking a little bit sloppy, and they're starting to struggle a little bit. They're going to have to wait for this next Aegis before they want to make any aggressive moves like that again. And you can already see Ice relegated to his own jungle, not feeling nearly as confident as he once was as PPD. even feeling that he could get out into this jungle and ward, and that's when you know for a fact that Radiant are back in this game, and he feels that he can get this far out on the map.
EHOME, though, still have an opportunity to control this game once again. They've kind of been wrested from their hands, but if they can nail this next Roshan, which is coming up in another minute and a half, get that Aegis into their hands, they can control the game once again, but they need to be careful with these pickoffs. And that's why they're going to group up a little bit more. They're going to have 3 heroes mid behind Old Chicken as he pushes the wave with his Juggernaut. They're not even going past the river, it looks like. They're going to go for an invade into the Radiant jungle, seeing if they can catch anybody, and checking out the Roshan pit, I'm sure.
Yeah.
To see if the Aegis is available.
He's just going to push out this top tower. He knows for a fact that EHOME are in this jungle. EHOME, I don't think they should find a need to defend this top tower anymore. The better thing to do is control up this jungle, de-ward everything that you possibly can, then simply go for the Roshan right after. The best way to do that is exactly what they're doing right now. So they're going to get a free tower out of this once again, getting quite a lot on the map.
They are going to rotate Warlock out here.
Yeah, I'm pretty surprised that Fenrir is making this move. He should just start walking back down.
Yeah, okay. It looks like he's just going to get some vision to give him a little bit of a read on what exactly Evil Geniuses are doing with his top lane push. If they're... Uh-oh. This 4-man smoke. They didn't go up. They're going to run straight into Fenrir, but the Black Shadow is already popped, so they know someone's around, but Fenrir doesn't know how close he is to death. They're posing on middle lane, though. They see the Juggernaut. Now they're going to run into Fenrir right in the face of everybody from Evil Geniuses. They're almost going to immediately going to pop him. The force staff gives them some space, but not good enough.
And EG doing such a good job right now with map control. Gonna reset EHOME again, as EHOME gonna be reluctant to fight without their Warlock.
Just a scouting arrow there from Samael. Almost nails Lana. That tier 1 tower hit is denied.
And he almost has the Ethereal Blade already. EHOME. At one point it looked like they were already on their way to a 10k lead, but instead, back down to 2500 XP, almost going the way of EG for the first time in this game. And this Roshan is going to be even more crucial as EG. They can fight around it though. They still have the Chronosphere.
Double damage for Old Chicken. This is looking like a great Roshan attempt, and if a team fight ensues, it could still be good for them as well. The Chronosphere is up for the Faceless Void, but Fenrir, he has a big old team fight changing ultimate in his hands as well.
Yeah,
ready to go.
Old Chicken gonna get clipped a few times, gotta be careful. And now EG should start rushing over Universe. Find position, trying to get a chrono opportunity is EHOME. They are so reluctant to give up this Aegis. They're gonna smoke for it.
They're actually gonna smoke and push forward. Not a wraparound. They're just gonna go straight into Evil Genius's jungle, see if they can catch anybody, and they've got him too. PPD gonna be hit by the Primal Roar. This is a big pickup. It may be just a support, but we talked about in the drafting phase how important that Ice Blast is going to be for Evil Geniuses to be able to fight. And I'm not sure if they can contest EHOME for that Roshan now. Let's see, push out. Ice, ice, ice. Maybe they're going to go for this pickoff.
He's going to buyback.
Buyback now, BPT. Immediately, EHOME. They get out of the pit. They know that Ice Blast is heading towards it. Sure enough, it lands now, but finds no members of EHOME inside the pit.
Still, EHOME, they don't have the Necro books up. They don't have the Roar. They're going to have to be a little bit more patient around this. They still have that Warlock ultimate, though, and they just run into Universe. Who's going to get it?
Oh, this is a big one, too. The arrow's going to be able to come in. The Primal Roar, not there from Old 11. Still another 30 seconds on the clock. They can't punish anybody from Evil Geniuses for a free kill on a Juggernaut.
One of the better cores to take down is EHOME, again, repelled, and it looks like now they're the ones playing chicken. They've got to get out of this area. This is now EG territory as EG are grouped up. Don't think they can take the Roshan for themselves, though.
Without a Chronosphere, it seems unlikely. They also don't have that Moonlight Shadow 2 very big time team fight ults, but PPD gonna be caught once again, separates from his team ever so slightly, and pounced on by Old 11 and Old Lanham. 14-16 now, as the fight around the Roshan pit continues. A pickoff after pickoff, neither team claiming a clear enough advantage to be able to take it. But maybe with this maneuver by Ice, he's going to push in the top lane all the way to tier 3 and blinks away just ahead of Fear. That would have led to his death, but momentary blink will keep him alive just ahead of Samael and Fear's wombo combo.
Yeah, now, because they show so many different heroes up at top, look what EHOME responded with. They go for the Roshan immediately. This was a very good maneuver by Ice. He knows that EG aren't going to just allow him to push on that top lane. And EG not even going to really bother going for it. They understand that they've just given up.
Yeah, they pretty much once they made that rotation up to the top lane, forced by Ice pushing all the way into the tier 3 tower, they said, we're giving up Roshan if EHOME are around that pit, but if we can claim the kill on Timbersaw, it'll be kind of worth it, but they don't even get that much. Ice's reactions just a bit too quick for Evil Geniuses.
I think EG, even with that top lane pushing in, if they had PPD, they probably would have made that they probably wouldn't have gone up at top, and they would have contested Roshan no matter what, because they know Timber's in a position where he doesn't push fast enough. He's going to come back for that Aegis fight. But without him available, he used his buyback already. No ultimate anyways to his name.
Yeah, PPD just as easily could have been the one to defend that top lane push and still had an impact for a Roshan fight, but it all comes from that pickoff that was found by the Beastmaster and the Ogre Magi. Now, EHOME, they gave up their advantage pretty heavily last time around when they had the Aegis, and it seems like they've learned their lesson. They're playing this a lot more cautiously, not even extending Old Chicken past that corner on the top left of the map. Push him back into the jungle, and looks like they're waiting for a couple items. They have that Aegis, but they're not immediately 5-manning. What exactly do you think EHOME is waiting for?
For this Warlock, you could go for the Aghanims if you want. There's not a whole lot that the Timber needs at this point because he's already the strongest fighting hero on his team. The Beastmaster's got 1900. He could go for a Vlad's if he wants his arrow clips, but Sumail far away is... They're going to fire at the Ice Blast at the top just to push things back. But Ice already in position.
Feels like that Diffusal Blade is going to be necessary for Old Chicken. He almost has it too. Double Blade for Alacrity. He knows that there's that Ethereal Blade on Sumail's Mirana. That obviously makes his Omni Slash a whole lot less reliable unless he can diffuse off that Ethereal State.
And right now, EHOME all farming under the vision of this ward. EG, this is going to prompt them to push out a little bit into their jungle. PPD, a little bit weary to push out too far. He doesn't want to get picked off once again. That might just lead to a high ground for EHOME. As Eul Scepter completed by Ice.
It feels like in this game, the Chronosphere is what's going to determine whether Evil Geniuses successfully hold their high ground against EHOME's push. If that's the case, does Universe try and go for a Blink Dagger here and deviate from the damage build he has so far with Vlad's and Manta?
Up at top, Sumail went for it, but was nowhere near that kill.
He's got Euls and a Blink. Ice is scot-free away.
EHOME making their way up. They're gonna try to sandwich this. PPD might just get caught here.
PPD, not again. The hard 5 gets caught. A hard life for Ancient Apparition in this game, as time after time he goes for the warding and is not backed up well enough by his team. Gives away the free kill.
And I think EHOME want to make a play off of this, but they're just going to push out the lanes. That was just a free pick off for them. In an ideal world, they transition off of it, but maybe they don't feel like it's enough time. And going high ground against EG's lineup is still very scary. For EG, what they really need to do is be able to blow that Aegis up without having to commit that Chronosphere. That's what made that fight so successful for them last time. They need that Chrono available to kill Old Chicken the second time around. At the same time, EG has very mobile cores, as that Mirana and the Stasis Void. Unless they get roared up in this game cap, I don't think they can die.
Yeah, it's just so easy for Evil Geniuses to punish the high ground from EHOME. They don't have a great, like, the Juggernaut is just kind of okay at being able to push into that tier 3 with the Aegis. The problem being is there's so little commitment from Fear. When he jumps in, hits that call right next to the tier 3 and pulls Old Chicken even farther back. If he dies back there next to that Rax area, then that just means his second life is going to mean very little, as EHOME are going to struggle to be able to dive that deep into the base. So EHOME, quite trepidatious, are actually pushing into the Evil Geniuses base, instead trying to secure themselves a very large net worth lead. And potentially, they could push this to a point where we are sitting here at 45-50 minutes and EHOME are sitting 10 to 15k ahead. Do you think EHOME actually has a lineup, though, to beat out Evil Geniuses late game?
When it comes to the ultra late game, when everybody's 6-slotted, potentially, they're going to need a Hex at some point on this Timbersaw. He's the natural builder for it. They're just going to need a second form of Disable from one of their cores. As at bottom, Sumail doesn't have that Linkens. He's got to be careful.
Ice Blast cutting through the jungle there and got some information to Sumail just in time for him to be able to blink and leave himself away from the Beastmaster.
Looks like EHOME just using this Aegis to farm out, as now it is gone. There was no tier 2 towers for them to go for. EG farming very aggressively around the map now, and the lead is still going quite heavily in EHOME's favor because they just have more to work with right now in this jungle.
Evil Geniuses are still finding areas for them to be able to push out and try and match the farming efficiency of EHOME. Thankfully, they've got some mobile cores like Universe's Basis Void, who can spend some time in the dire jungle.
I think they should start thinking about smoking, or at least go for some sort of pickoff.
For Evil Geniuses?
Yeah, but the concern is that if they run into EHOME as 5, they could just straight up lose the game.
Yeah.
Every lane is being pushed out consistently by EHOME, and that's what you want to do when you're winning this far ahead, but you don't feel like you can go for the high ground immediately. You starve EG, make them think they're always 5 in your jungle, then EG feels hesitant to make any sort of plays. Like you see, they're even backing out as 4 right now, because they don't feel confident about this, but now they're going to make the play, and they're hoping to run into solo heroes here. Sumail going to try to make the connection to them after pushing out this bottom wave.
The hope being that Sumail, he took a small risk pushing out that top lane, but as it approaches the tier 2, hopefully someone from EHOME will show, and this smoke rotation...
This could be huge.
EHOME are split up! Be able to get the Chronosphere, but no, the blink away! All the left escaped, and it's going to be Lanham cut instead, but they already got Old Chicken cut down by Fear. They're still going to chase down Lanham as well. They managed to get him to badge up just before the Fire Blast. 2 down as EHOME are caught with their pants down. Rotation up from Ice meant that he wasn't there with the team. And while that may have been a fantastic escape, jump forward. Oh, Sumail gets him! He gets the arrow on the Vendor behind the tier 2. And Evil Geniuses, once corralled inside their base with nowhere to go, nowhere to farm, they are now being the ones pushing into a tier 2 of EHOME.
Sumail has just been unbelievable for EG. Shades of that TI 5 run that they made. They need him to be a star player, and he's delivering so far. 10-1 as EG now on the offensive, despite the fact that at one point they were almost down 10k. Now they're making their move forward. They sense weakness in EHOME's lineup.
And the Illusion Army advances. Zai uses his Shatter Demon with a disruption to create even more illusions of Universe's Basis Void. Oh, the jump in! Oh my god! And all the moment, they're almost gone! You'll step in as finds himself a moment, but he's still down! He gets the kill on Fear as a rebuttal, but EHOME, they now have to buy back and try and chase down the heroes of Evil Geniuses. Looks like they may have caught Sumail. Old 11 slowing him down.
They're throwing down so much for this.
Roar. They use the Chaotic Offering from Warlock as well, dropping the Golem, but they did manage to get the kill. Looks like they may be able to get Universe as well. He's got the gem too. He snatched that one away from Old Lanham, but now he has to cut his way through the trees, hoping beyond hope that he could escape from EHOME, but no chance in hell.
And you saw just how much EHOME wanted those 2 cores. They even dropped down the rock on Sumail's head.
And an ironic USA chant coming out from the Chinese side, as the crowd definitely getting into this game. Evil Geniuses lose 4. It cost EHOME a lot, though. You said big time ultimates being used there. The Chaotic Offering, they had to blow a buyback as well on Beastmaster.
Yeah, the issue right now is that this Warlock, he wants to use that ultimate as aggressively as possible, as deep into this EG base as he can, but instead he's being forced to use it either reactively or not at all, and EG are going to be satisfied with that because they can just keep resetting these team fights. They feel comfortable fighting around this AA Ice Blast. They've done a wonderful job of it so far, but at some point EHOME, with this lineup, they want to get aggressive, and they're starting to make moves right now. I do fear for them, though. They've got to start respecting the 5-man from EG.
Ice Blast being used just to kill a Hawk. That's how important the Vision game is. This close game 1 between EHOME and Evil Geniuses. Now EG have to deal with not 1 Golem, but 2. Chaotic Offering being upgraded now by the Aghanim Scepter.
EHOME looking around. They've got this Hawk in a really good position, just continuing to scout. It's going to make EHOME feel a little bit more comfortable as EG are starting to make a push out into this mid lane. They're even going to use the Moonlight Shadow just to scout ahead as a replacement for their smoke. They're not going to find anything in the jungle, though, as EHOME now they're starting to think about grouping up.
Yeah, they sit down there at their bottom tier 1. As 3 and the other half of their crew, Ice and Old 11, are sitting on the far left-hand side of the map, just in front of that tier 3 tower, hiding in the trees. Trying to keep that creep wave pushed forward, just like Ice did earlier in the game, where he forced a rotation out of Evil Geniuses and secured themselves a Roshan. He's looking for round 2 here. See if he can force that rotation and open up the Aegis and Cheese for EHOME.
And EHOME should know that something is up right now, because EG still aren't defending this top tower out. It's taken well over half of its HP. So now they're going to show themselves mid.
Not even PPD back there to defend. He's with the rest of his boys in the mid lane as a 5-man crew. It looks like they may just try and pressure EHOME's base. As the tier 3 is gone already in that mid lane, EHOME will be forced to defend. Now the initiation comes in. Fear going to be able to find Lana with the Ice Blast in the call. They've got it. But EHOME, they'll have the opportunity to respond. BKB now activated on the flash.
There's the Chaotic off that side. Let's get PPD. The Chaotic offering drop, but the Chronosphere controls the Bolting of Gold, as well as Old 11. He'll be torn apart as the Universe gets 1. Looks for 2.
Chicken's getting low.
He's getting low, but BKB now the spin. He pops out. Universe, he backs away, waiting for his reinitiation. Samael saves himself with the Ethereal Blade for a moment, but the perch goes down. Now leads himself into the trees and will be able to TP
Zai's
out.
juking right now.
Zai trying to put his...
he's getting a win right now.
Zai. No, he gets him eventually. He couldn't dodge forever. Ice. He hunts for Samael in the trees, but he's already gone 3 down from Evil Geniuses. EHOME, a successful defense. And it cost them the Chaotic offering, but it may have just gotten them the Roshan. 2 up from EG. The PPD is about to come back up, but they've got the Juggernaut. They may just be able to do this.
Very well done by EHOME. Once again, though, it's off of EG going for the push. And now, with this Aegis, I think Old Chicken is going to feel a lot more comfortable. They're going to fire the Ice Blast.
That's rough. Moonlight Shadow used, but the illusion of Old Chicken's Juggernaut managed to scout out the use there by Samael. So EHOME will back away from the pit for now.
Yeah, they're just going to reset as 5, I think. EG in a position where they don't want to give up this Aegis if possible. Chronosphere is still on cooldown, though, for another 20 seconds. So for them, they're hoping that EHOME just stalls out. That's what's happening right now is Juggernaut is going to push in Illusion into this mid wave and force EG to deal with it. But without pressure in this top area, EHOME, they can't really open up this Roshan for themselves quite yet. Maybe we see a TP from Ice up the top to set up for this eventually.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. He's got the boots of travel ready to go. He actually went back to base for the BKB. In order to counter that pressure at the top lane, though, and we've talked about this a couple of times, as Radiant's side, instead of trying to constantly go back and deal with the pressure of the top lane every single time you're being split push, and that obviously opening up Roshan, instead, you are the ones who try and put the pressure in by going 5-man down mid, keeping EHOME inside their base and out of the pit.
Yeah, Dota's a largely a process of elimination game. If you don't see anybody pushing in top, then you know that they either have to be contesting for the next objective, or they're in your jungle right now. And Ice is going to find that out for his teammates. Creep wave is coming in here, going to show himself up at top, and that might just prompt EHOME to leave their base and start getting aggressive for that Roshan. We see Ice TP already, and they see 2 heroes coming up here. This might just mean a free Roshan for EHOME.
Have to see. Evil Geniuses are already pretty quick with dealing with that top lane push and could rotate fast enough to stop EHOME.
They've got to go right now.
Yeah, EHOME, they're not immediately going into the pit though. They're sitting around their secret shop area. Will be scouted out by PPD's Ice Blast.
And this is a very good way for them to deal with this top lane, just sending them these Axe Illusions.
Moonlight Shadow now being used. They think they can catch EHOME off guard here. The smoke.
They get the high ground.
Straight into Universe. He's going to try and get the Chronosphere before snap. Not fast enough. They managed to lock down Old 11 too, but the Chaotic offering. Now the response is Universe forced himself away. Universe, Ice pops the BKB, almost popping PPD. Will be able to take him in due time. His old chicken cleans him up instead. Universe now with the TP out inside the trees. Evil Geniuses only lose their support Ancient Apparition as EHOME use the Chaotic offering, but it looks like it's still enough. Without the Chronosphere, they can go back and go for the Roshan.
Yeah, and we talked about the fact that they needed that second lockdown factor coming out of this Timbersaw. At some point, he's going to have to get that X, and right now he's got that Yule Scepter, but he's going to have to think about replacing it very quickly, as maybe if they had a Hex there, they can probably kill Universe or Fear, and Fear already popped his BKB out in the beginning of that fight.
Roshan down to half health. Evil Genius is going to try and make the best of this situation. They've got two pushing up the top lane. Ice, obviously not needed inside the Roshan pit. He'll contest top lane. He's got the backup too with Yule Scepter. He'll be able to slow down Fear. He's got Lanham coming in. The Blade Mail activated by Fear, but he's already so damn low. Ice with the second Chakram. Cleans them up. Side next.
Got the Yule
by another Yule Scepter. Chakram for saves. Evil Geniuses will drop 2 and maybe a third. Samael already being chased down by Old Chicken. BKB being used. 21-27. EHOME with a big win there. Take Roshan, get 2 at the top lane, winning in both objectives, both north and south.
EHOME finally starting to recover from that mid game where it looked like EG was gonna take this game back into their own hands. And now they're pushing down mid with this DD Juggernaut who's bloodlusted as well. He's got the Aegis, he feels incredibly confident. But EG, they've still got this Chronosphere available. They could just pop one of the cores, but they don't want to expend anything on this Juggernaut.
5K on Eyesight Scientist Timber Saw. Potential new item coming in. He's gonna again push out that top lane Fearless as he approaches the tier 3 tower.
Yep.
Double Chakrams, pushes back Samael and gets his team space to be able to push in both mid as well as the bottom lane.
All 3 lanes pushed out now by EHOME. And they're just daring EG to make a move outside their base right now. EG, they're just going to keep sending in illusions back at this bottom wave.
Now this is not going to be an Aegis wasted, right? EHOME, that second Aegis that they got, that was the farming one and that made sense. But surely, with the BKBs they've gotten into their hands now, they're going to go high ground with this one, right?
Yeah, I think with Aegis Cheese, it's a pretty good opportunity. You have all the abilities that you want, all the items. Old Chicken has 5K on him, but Ice, I think once he buys his next item, they'll feel comfortable. But at the same time, you're still fighting against this EG high ground. Ice Blast, plus the Axe Call, and this Faceless Void Chrono. The best time to use them is defensively, inside your own base. And I think that's what EHOME are fearing, another repeat of what happened at bottom.
Yeah, you said the best way to really counteract the heroes like Ancient Apparition, right, is being able to face rush them, get in their face, make it so they don't have that setup of Chronosphere into Ice Blast, but hard to do that when you're going into high ground and don't have the vision inside the base. Evil Geniuses waiting and waiting for EHOME to make their first approach. EHOME not going for it just yet. Keeping all the lanes pushed in, farming away. Not sure what exactly they're waiting for.
Yeah, now they're starting to form up.
Any item, looks like, yeah.
They'll just send the illusions in. Start beating on this tower. Start the slow siege from this Juggernaut.
You've got the Illusion King himself, though, the champion even to counteract some of those illusion pushes. His disruption goes down. Juggernaut's illusion's playing against him now as he pushes out a wave.
And now he's just going to keep manting and sending him forward as Fear goes for it.
All from Fear, they actually go for the Fury Blade. Jagged Pop, Old Chicken somehow still alive. It's going to be perched up, blown down, but it gets the blink away. Now the Chaotic Offering. A disruption buys Universe time, but no. Fear eventually will go down. The tier 3s now being assaulted by the double golems.
Does have that buyback available, and he was going for the play where they can just pop Old Chicken's Aegis and then use the Chrono as a follow-up, but EG repelled back, and the margin for victory in that fight was so close.
Oh no, now be another initiation, Ancient Apparition, another disruption save, the Chronosphere goes down, Ice Flash over the top, there's just not quite enough damage to kill anybody significant, they only get Mana in the back line. Old Chicken dealing with Fear, he popped the Blade Mail to BKB and is fighting up against Ice, and Jagged comes in, they take away the Aegis of the Juggernaut, but round 2, Evil Geniuses now has to deal with a full HP Juggernaut. Disruption, arrow goes down, but the spin was up. Old Chicken, he retreats as Fenrir covers his tracks with the upheaval. Now the call on Ice, almost gets PPD, but a force tap save actually gets PPD away. Old Chicken blinks forward, goes for Zai. The Invis might be able to save him. Theory of Blade got in low enough, and the Dagger wins him off. Ice left inside the fountain with nobody to be able to save him. He's going to drop right
They're
next to the tier 3 towers. EHOME on the retreat as Evil Geniuses hold against an Aegis and Cheese.
And this Sumail take-on is doing so much work for them. Even with that Aegis unable to be popped in the forced buyback onto this Axe, EG just simply outfought them inside the base when it mattered. PPD baited them so far in. And not worth it for EHOME at all, is now they're going to lose some confidence. They don't have this Warlock Chaotic offering, and EG going to start pushing forward.
I mean, if you look at the HP of a hero like Juggernaut, their primary carry, he just doesn't have a whole lot to work with in the first place. And then when you have things like the Ancient Apparition Ice Blast taken away, a huge percentage of his HP, and then Axe, he's able to take him down when he's below 425, 400 kill threshold right there. It actually means that Juggernaut, he drops maybe 500, 600 HP, and he's almost in the kill zone for Evil Geniuses. It means EHOME, they just don't have that kind of high ground guaranteed push in their hands. And Evil Geniuses, they have every opportunity to punish EHOME now. They've got the Moonlight Shadow and Smoke up. They start approaching EHOME space.
Pretty unbelievable. Right now, if you just look at the metrics, 15k net worth lead for EHOME, experience in a similar direction, but it doesn't feel like that at all. EG have just opened themselves up a win condition as this Juggernaut was forced to buy back. If they kill him once, the game could just be over. And what a turn of events for EHOME.
Evil Geniuses placing everything they have into the initiation. You see Universe picking up the Shadow Blade just for the opportunity for a better Chronosphere, as that could single-handedly win them the fight. Now it's EHOME's turn to push out. They've got a smoke. They've got the drive to take over this game again, not let Evil Geniuses bully them around. They're getting closer and closer. Force that forward. And a long-range slow from Lonim will catch PPD. And they actually get him. The Dual Scepter goes down. Looks like they're going to leave PPD to die. The hard 5 position tops the gank once again.
Not what they were looking for at all.
No. They wanted so much more than that.
This poor Axe, even below this Ogre in terms of net worth, but still making such impact as Fear. He's had a lot of game-saving calls so far in this game, but it's been Sumail who's dealing out all the damage in the game necessary for EG to stay alive. Dagon 5 now completed for him, and EHOME do not feel comfortable pressuring with that item available.
And that's initiation from the Shadow Blade may be nice, but the Silver Edge and what it can do to its Timber Saw, cutting away that reactive armor, could be even better.
Still think EHOME need a second form of control. They have to pop the Chaotic Offering alone just to get any kills. Their only other stun on top of that is the Ogre Ice, the Fire Blast, or the Beastmaster Roar.
Right.
Not the best form.
He's kind of doing the best he can. He's got the Force Staff, he's even got an Ether Lens. Oh, the Chronosphere up there in the top lane. Looks like they've got Ice rather easily. Evil Geniuses swarm the carry of EHOME. Take him down, and they've got 60 seconds now to punish EHOME for that death.
And EHOME, I mean, they must be really confused right now, because they should be winning this game. All of their cores have the necessary amount of farm to win. Their supports aren't doing shabby either. You've got a Midas and an Aghanims completed on this Warlock. At 49 minutes, maybe you can expect them to have a refresher soon after. But other than that, they should be winning fights, but EG are just outplaying them right now as they're going to start their aggressive move forward. This Juggernaut still doesn't have buyback available for another 4 minutes. And EG, they can kill him once. That could just mean the game for EHOME, despite leading almost this entire game.
Cleaning up that last creep wave before they go high ground. 20 seconds left for the Timber Saw. EHOME, they're going to need to find a way to hold their melee racks in mid until Ice is back up. And the range rack is already being taken down by Illusions itself. No commitment from EG, and are still going to reap the rewards.
Yeah, right now just beating on this range racks.
Limiting use.
So reluctant to make any sort of move, and first rack of the game.
Universe and his Manta Illusions, and Zai with his Disruption Illusions together. They form a blue army. The Evil Geniuses taking away down the ranged racks. Evil Geniuses had commit absolutely nothing there, no risk. Take an objective, back away before Ice is awake again and ready to fight.
And now this Juggernaut has that form of control that we were talking about. Got that Abyssal Blade with the blink.
Do you think you still need a Scythe of Ice on EHOME as well?
I mean, any sort of follow-up initiation would be really good. Ice still holding on to this Dual Scepter. If he sold it, still wouldn't be in position to buy that Hex, and I think that's the real concern right now, because he needs buyback.
Right.
When Old Chicken doesn't.
He's only got 6 Bloodstone charges. Universe with his invis is going to be able to find Lonim. He slows him down. Dual Scepter is going to be used. Lonim trying to get away. He's got some backup now as EHOME members swarm in. Moonlight Shadow being used by Evil Geniuses, and they're actually going to look for reinitiation. No chance, though. EHOME have already gone up to their high ground.
EG gonna reset, but look how aggressively they're playing. Look at the warding. They know they're trying to trap EHOME in their base, force EHOME to make some sort of careless maneuver. This is the first time I've seen EG play such aggressive wards. They've got all the vision in the world to work with. Meanwhile, EHOME, they're gonna have to rely on these Hawks.
EHOME, they desperately need some counter vision down because again, Universe is going to find his opportunity. He gets the Silver Edge, runs into old 11. He teams his worthy for Chronosphere Ice Blast combo to take him down. Right hand side, Samael is going to be caught. Meanwhile, the Secret Shop has got a brawl.
They get
Old Chicken, he's getting kicked out right now. Old Chicken's dropping down to half HP, but Omni Flash only on Fear will be able to take him down. Looks like with Lonham's help, they also get the Shadow Demon. Now the Healing Ward heals him back up a little bit more. The magic damage comes in. Old Chicken spins off the damage from Samael. He's now caught by the Primal Roar, surrounded by Golem. And he's down, 4 dead from Evil Geniuses. EHOME, they've now got the pit under control, only losing their Warlock, a beauty of a team fight for EHOME.
And these bloodlusted Warlock Golems doing so much work in this fight, as EHOME now going to pick up an Aegis. They're in prime position once again as EG just got completely sandwiched.
They certainly did. Evil Geniuses, they thought they were just going to be able to get the one pick off there. With Universe leading the way, the Silver Edge commits the Chronosphere on the big initiator of the Beastmaster. And yes, they got that kill, but they're fighting right outside Tier 3 towers, even next to a Tier 2 at that bottom lane, meaning the buyback from the Beastmaster. Very effective, manages to catch Samael with a Primal Roar, and resulting in EHOME getting the Aegis, Cheese, and now just outside of Evil Geniuses' lane, the bottom. They're going to go for the melee racks. Ice, already uphill. Starts beating away at it with his limited damage. He's not truly a right-click core, but he's going to try and make the best of it with his tankiness. They don't want to commit the Juggernaut, knowing that Old Chicken's already been getting caught.
Nice
side. He doesn't have an Aegis, and my God! That magic damage, he just exploded!
EG had to use the buyback, but still manages to hold on to their racks. And EHOME gonna walk away.
They get a Tier 3 tower out of it, though. A very large push to top lane of creeps will take away that Tier 3, so at least EHOME gets something for it.
Every single time I think that EHOME have control of this game, EG managed to battle back. Then the same thing happens as they wrest control away. But with this Aegis available, EHOME, they're hoping to put the stamp on this game. A lot of gold built up on all their cores, but they have to respect the damage right now that comes out of this Mirana. This Axe can kind of just blink in, force that Berserker's call out, prevents him from going for his own BKB. Refresher now completed on this Warlock.
Which is why, right, that the initiation is so easy for EG in the high ground, right? They just blink in, get a Berserker's call. It's not heavy commitment, but it reaps a lot of rewards. Making sure that enemy, if he catches them, maybe can't use the BKB, and then we see Samael just blow him up with magic damage on top of the Ice Blast. But EHOME, they don't have too many options to respond. They're reliant on their quick reaction to BKB to be able to get off that magic immunity before the initiation comes from EG, or they need really, really good counter initiation from Fenrir, and that has just been extremely upgraded with that refresher.
The big thing right now for EG is when they're defending the high ground, it's so much easier to structure your fights. You simply say, how many times have they done this in a row? The Axe will say, okay, I'm going to go blink call him, just get ready. They drop everything on him. They use the F-Blade and the Dagon. Low cooldowns on both those abilities. They pop one hero off the bat, then EHOME feel reluctant to take a fight, and EG managed to reset. But when it comes to those fights outside the base, when EG are pushing up and they can't structure things like that, that's when things get really good for EHOME, is they can just make the fight as chaotic as possible. EHOME trying to catch EG unawares, but EG, again, they want to play this high ground game for as long as that Aegis is up.
Plus, they do not have buybacks on Samael and his Mirana, Fear and his Axe, as well as Zai on the Shadow Demon. They know they're at a severe disadvantage. Despite holding earlier, they can't afford to risk anything here. EHOME with the Aegis, Cheese, and only one buyback on cooldown. And that's going to be Old 11's Beastmaster.
There is no buyback, though, like you said, on this Mirana. That's going to be the big one for EHOME. And with this Aegis and Cheese available, now they're going to simply say, all right, we have to be able to win this fight. the double chaotic offering, but Universe looks like he wants to make an aggressive play forward.
Moonlight Shadow, they actually get a disruption. Oh, fear.
Oh, he doesn't get it this time.
He could be punished here. Not quite EHOME, not dropping anything just yet. Fenrir sitting way in the back. He wants to make sure he's not caught by that Chronosphere. He knows how important that chaotic offering double drop is going to be. Fear trying again with the call. Not able to snag Gold Chicken, keeping his distance. Now the side device. They come forward out of Universe. The Primal Roar follow up the chaotic offering. They're dropping everything they have, but Universe hasn't dropped just yet. He gets the time walk away. One chaotic offering used, and melee racks will fall. If they had claimed Universe, though, it could have been so much sweeter. Now EG have the opportunity to respond. Jump forward from Old Chicken, threatening PPD. Now Universe, he sees the opportunity. He's got a Chronosphere.
What's the follow-up damage?
They've got the damage to be able to blow up one out. Second chaotic offering, though, interrupting call. Fear, he's going on to Ice. The BKB activated. They want to be able to lock down Universe. The side device buys them a little bit of time. A bash up, time walk in Universe. Again, back to the fountain, but EHOME still control the base. They're going to go for the tier 3 tower. The Golems beating it down to half HP. The arrow comes out. A clean whip as EHOME dance away. The Golems being dealt with now, and now a retreat. Oh, no! Ethereal Blade and attacking. Both them up now. Ice is going to be able to dodge by.
Oh, they've got him.
Old Chicken comes back with life number 2, but he's already find Ice in the dirt.
And EG, they're going to keep
so
pressing for more. They're going to get Fenrir here.
He's got Booster Travel level 2. They're going to be able to get Fenrir easily. Samael, he'll blink forward. Leaps up as well. Looking for the arrow. It's on the mark almost, but Old Chicken a little bit too fast. He blinks away as well.
Buyback used on this Timbersaw, trying to deal with this top lane. EG only lose that bottom set of racks in exchange for 2 kills on EHOME, and very well done by EG. As they don't lose too bad there, as there's not going to be enough time for them to reform up. The refresher was used as well on this Warlock. Both cheeses available still, though.
Almost an 8,000 gold sweep. That last team fight where Evil Geniuses were able to defend their mid lane of racks. However, getting to a point where even gold objectives, these things may not matter as much as the buybacks. They're on these 2 teams, and Evil Geniuses, their buybacks are still on cooldown for another minute and a half for most of them. So they can't quite go for a high ground push. They can't do anything while Fenrir was dead. EHOME are going to be able to get all 5 heroes back up before anything happens. They do have a critical buyback, though, on cooldown. Ice. His is down for 6 minutes, and this may determine the story of this game. Evil Geniuses know that buyback is on cooldown. They know their own buybacks are coming up. Evil Geniuses, do they seek to punish that window?
I think for EG, it's difficult because if you lose any sort of fight right now, the game just ends, but they want to try to make an aggressive maneuver before EHOME can just take another Roshan. Trying to catch them unawares right now, hoping that somebody from EHOME is caught alone farming once again.
That ever-present dire side advantage has to be weighing on Evil Genius's mind. Those Aegis and cheeses are practically being given away to EHOME for free, just simply due to the positioning and innate advantage of the dire side. Evil Geniuses, they can't just sit on their laurels. They can't just let EHOME take those extra lives for free. And that's why they're trying to be aggressive. They don't find anything, though. They make the invasion into the dire jungle. Nothing to be found there. As EHOME are patiently waiting inside of their base. They know they can't risk Ice's life at this point. He's got no buyback, and he's only got 4 Bloodstone charges.
Yeah, if you think about why it's so big that you even take the single fighter racks at this bottom lane, it's because EG constantly have to come back for it. And if there's any point where the Roshan spawns while they're dealing with that bottom wave, then EHOME knows their intentions, how far in they are, and they can respond accordingly. For EG, they almost always have to keep an eye on this bottom lane, send somebody back, and it just forces EG in a position where they have to make their jumps almost immediately, and EHOME are almost always just going to play off of the fact that they've got better info.
EHOME feeling good enough to be able to push out. They see Samael in the bottom lane. That would be a big pickup. Ice was sitting almost in range to lead with a Scythe of Ice initiation, but Samael backed himself away. He pushed that lane up just a tad. PPD, not again. He may be the
far out.
Initiated on. They take the Primal Roar. Will go for it, but the other slash and the disruption. Now the Chronosphere in response. PPD, he still survives. He's got the Ghost Scepter, and he may be able to lay out an Ice Flash. Double chaotic offering being dropped on Universe's head, as well as Samael. Samael almost being beaten to a pulp by those golems. Will be able to leap himself away. Universe being kited. A Timber's Jaw will be able to Timber Chain himself backwards.
Golems will approach the Radiant base here. Evil Genius is going to have to defend against them. Here actually calling them up and drops a lot of HP. A jump forward there from Unit first, poking at EHOME. And again, Samael's going to come forward. He's getting back. Oh no, he just starts it down. 100 seconds of buyback ready. EHOME, they sense weakness though. They're going to force that one. The buyback now
instantly going to go for it, but Sai,
he's being gone up by Old Ticket, but did Old Ticket just overextend himself? He's going to be perked up, called up, slowed down by Blast. He's gone. 100 seconds for him as well. EHOME on the retreat. They forced a buyback from Evil Geniuses. Now it is EG's turn to force a buyback out of EHOME.
I think EG have to go for this. There's no refresher ultimate available on Fenrir. They're starting to ping forward. They want to get aggressive. Universe almost has that Bloodthorn available as well. He is getting so strong.
Chronosphere up in 25 seconds. Buyback on cooldown for Ice for 2.5 minutes. And they can force a buyback on the Juggernaut as they push high ground. This is their best opportunity to turn this game around. 33-36, 62 minutes in. Razor thin margins here between these two teams.
Yeah, now the TP is going to come in from the Faceless Void. At minimum, they want to force the buyback on this Juggernaut. EHOME might even just give up this Rax and force EG to go top.
Here comes the Illusion Army. The boys in blue lead a blue army onto the melee Rax. They're going to be able to get that one for free, just like we talked about last time.
They've got to go top to force this Jug buyback, though.
Little commitment, but a melee Rax in mid is not enough. They need more. That's why Universe is going to show himself at top lane. Starts going on to a Primal Roar, goes down, but EHOME still not committing that buyback from the Juggernaut. They know they can give up objectives, but the buybacks are sacred at this point. And they will manage to keep it in place, it looks like, as Evil Geniuses are going to be forced away.
Really want to get this Rax to force the buyback, though.
Melee Rax still up at half HP, but they're afraid. Disruption on this Samael. Illusions start jumping forward here. Melee Rax dropping lower and lower, but the Juggernaut up in 5 seconds. Evil Genius call it quits. They took the mid melee and the top ranged, but they did not force the buyback out of the Juggernaut. EHOME sacrificed those objectives to keep the big picture whole.
Yes, that is very good play by them. It was disciplined is what it is, as EG were just trying to poke around, made it even look like they were going to go all into that melee Rax, but Old Chicken holds that thought and doesn't go for the buyback. And now EHOME still in a strong position. They didn't have that Chaotic Offering Refresher Orb combination. That's been working out for them.
And again, we come to our old friend, Mr. Roshan. And Aegis and Cheese is what he's carrying. EHOME, they want that advantage for themselves. They've got that dire side advantage. They've got the bottom lane pushing in constantly, keeping EG, their heads turned towards that south side, making sure there's no more objective damage done to their base.
And the pace of this game alone is unreal. 64 minutes in, 33-36. Almost kill a minute. Another Ice Blast goes into the Roshan pit.
I mean, EHOME, they can bide their time. They can wait till Evil Geniuses start coming closer to the pit. EG, though, they're not falling into that trap. Again, just like last time where they pushed down mid, this time they're going to be putting pressure on top lane to force EHOME back inside their base. And maybe Evil Geniuses can get the positional advantage for the pit.
Yeah, without a glyph available, I think EHOME is going to be reluctant to ever just let this top tower push in. Ice, though, afraid without any vision that if he continues to go forward, maybe EG will just be raiding for him, but he's going to push in this wave now. And now EHOME, they're starting to clear out their own jungle. Good move by them. They can even start walking towards the Roshan pit themselves as this top lane is pushed in enough. This bottom wave is doing the same thing. EG going to have to deal with that. Now EHOME make their way down, and as soon as anybody from EG starts farming bottom, that'll confirm for EHOME that this is a free Roshan.
Yeah, Beastmaster with his Hawks, he is always able to get vision inside the pit. Evil Geniuses do not have the same kind of advantage. They've been forced to use Ice Blast, occasionally Scout. And as we see here, EG, they either don't know that EHOME is taking Roshan right now, or they feel they're not able to contest it. Either way, it means that EHOME will be able to get the Aegis and Cheese for themselves, and EG are going to be forced into yet another high ground defense, but they've been leading objectives this whole entire time, and there's no clear win condition for them just yet. EHOME are full up on buybacks, excluding a minor amount of gold on the Beastmaster and Ogre Magi still needed.
Yeah, this top lane gonna start pushing in. I think Ice has to be the one to make his way over and just save his boots of travel and come on over. Because if they're not careful, this top rack could just fall for them. Now they're starting to push. They're starting to march down this mid lane, and EHOME, they're pinging out this top. Think that Ice just pushes this in 1 or 2 waves in, then he meets the rest of his team.
Don't want to risk Evil Geniuses pushing out with the Moonlight Shadow and getting aggressive in that mid lane. EHOME still need to stay grouped up, and it's actually going to be our mid laners who are going to join the top lane push. Instead, Evil Geniuses remain resolute. Their stand on high ground, not trying to probe out just yet. They get some extra initiation items. They have Fear now with a Shadow Blade as well. Minute and a half until Samael has his buyback. His life is paramount for now. EHOME, they have a very small window here where they can try and punish that.
Yeah. But right now for EG, you have to sacrifice the other heroes who do have buyback, so Sumail's not caught out, and they should just frontline with the rest of them.
Disruption on the Axe will spawn some pretty good illusions to push back the top lane. As those illusions spin back on the creeps. EHOME though, mid, top, and bottom lane all pushing into Evil Genius's base.
Faceless Void, gonna be the hero to watch as the Chronosphere Ice Blast combination in this late game is still so effective, and he's got a Bloodthorn now, so damage not even an issue for Universe.
That's certainly not.
Boots of Travel 2 on Old Chicken. No other really big items need to filter in. They've got the Aegis available, but it's not really on an ideal hero. Old 11's the one that had to pick it up, as everybody else was full slaughtered.
So we've seen how EG defend, right? To call onto the front line hero and then hold on to the Chronosphere. If EHOME push forward, they punish and catch multiple heroes. How do EHOME actually push high ground though? How do they structure their team fight?
Hey, you saw the last time, they just sent the Manta illusion forward, they played around and danced around that Axe. When Fear missed it the second time, they just immediately initiated onto him.
So see if they can bait Evil Geniuses into a false initiation. All the meanwhile pressuring with these illusions. And you can see the range racks takes a very small amount of damage. EG, they know this illusion game well, and that's why they're going to push out. 5-man smoke straight into Ice. They're going to lead
they're going to catch him.
Fear's going to be able to get the call. The Ice Blast, and the burst damage is coming. Ice dead, and BKB activated. Now there's the Chrono! Universe, he's locked down 3. Now picks up the TP and Will as well. Ice, he's not going to be here for this fight. Chaotic Offering being dropped down immediately. BKB being activated by the Juggernaut. The disruption, it buys Universe a bit of time, but now eventually he goes down. The Chaotic Offering, number 2 being dropped on Fear. They take him out the left-hand side. Old 11. He gets hit by an Ethereal Blade. Dagon as well. Still not enough. Starstorm, they get it. Finally aces down. Oh my god, they've got Old Chicken as well. He has a buyback though. And here comes the second life of Old 11. He doesn't have a buyback just yet. Now Ice.
Everybody coming back in for me.
Another buyback with the Boots of Travel level 2. They're going on the Universe. He's dead. 2 minutes on the clock.
Samael,
They need to escape with Samael. He can't make it though. Down for 2 minutes, he's been forced into a buyback as well. But it's a 4 versus 5, and Fear, he's not even inside the base. He doesn't have Boots of Travel for another 10 seconds. He can't get home just yet.
And they desperately need him for this hold. Everybody buying back to try to make this a fight. EHOME, both their supports still have it available. They can still buy Boots of Travel. And now they're going to start their siege up at top. Here behind them, though, doesn't have that buyback available.
He's got the Shadow Blade. He's looking for the...
Oh, he's going to get spotted.
He managed to get 2, but already a lot of it jumped forward. And now that initiation for Fear, it's all for naught. Samael's in the middle of 3 heroes, but can't output enough magic damage to push them back. 2 heroes down from Evil Geniuses, and a 3 versus 5 commences. His Lanham buys his way back into this game.
EG going to need a miracle healer. Samael still has a lot of damage on his side, but EHOME just marching down. And EG might just not have the bodies to do this.
The Ice Blast is up, now the jump forward. Old Chicken, he goes for side. Hopefully be able to stop that pesky disruption, but force down, gives him space. Dagon, oh, he goes down! Triple Dagon! They take down Old Chicken. The Beastmaster's dead. Old Chicken still alive though. Juggernaut is good to go. He's going to be able to take that melee rack. Range rack up next, melee. Already down, Ice Blast coming in. Is this range rack? That's going to be Megas, and they just killed PPD. Nobody is
has buyback anymore except this Warlock. EHOME going to be incredibly satisfied, but they want to keep pushing forward. They know that this Void and this Axe can't help out.
If they can catch the mail for PPD, there's going to be another hero with no buyback. The disruption save from Zai. Can they get PPD out? He gets a force tap away, but no! The extra damage comes out from the Warlock as the Fatal Bonds eliminates him, but Zai! People will size. There's their play to dragon! Zai gets him! They hold! Mega Creeps incoming, but Evil Geniuses will stand strong for now against EHOME.
Yeah, now everybody from EG gonna start reviving soon. Faceless Void does very well against these Mega Creeps with his build. Vladimir's offering available to him, but EG, not a position you want to be in if you're an EG fan right now. Mega Creeped up.
They're going to calm things down a little bit. They know they've got Mega Creeps on their side. They can play and wait. They've got a buyback up still on Fenrir. They can afford to just wait until all these buybacks are up again. There's no reason to risk an all-in play when they're in such a great position.
I don't think that EEG is going to give them that opportunity. I feel like this is EG's time to just go for it. 8 buybacks were used in that fight, 9 buybacks were used in that fight. The only person with it available is this Warlock, but if he gets his abilities off, it doesn't really matter to EG, and that's exactly what they're going for. One last hurrah as they march down this mid lane. The rest of the heroes will meet them there with their boots of travels, and EG, can they do it? Any pickoff on a core might enable them to still win this game.
The boots of travel start coming in from Evil Geniuses. The heroes swarming into mid lane. Already leading the play. Universe, he's got the Moonlight Shadow. He's got the Invid. They reveal themselves on the creeps as they push down yet another wave. They still have a tier 2 up in the bottom lane, so they can't even things out.
Here's going to come in with the healing salve. They're all in for this right now.
8 more seconds for Ice. They start going for those tier 4s. Chipping away, the flip is up. Now the Daggons start coming in as Ice revives.
EG, what are they looking for?
Comes out on a fear. Refresher activated by Old 11. Not going to get the chance for a second Primal Roar. He's going to get blown up inside the chronosphere. He's down and out. Evil Geniuses still 5 up. But here comes that on these blacks. Bouncing around the Shadow Demon. Hoping to be able to go on his eye. But an arrow! Oh my god! The male just nailed him, but he still managed to get himself away in the back lines.
It's Faceless Void though in the back.
He's now going to go for a chipper. He may be activated. And now he's going to run himself away. Universe sends
these back lines.
EG might be able to do that. Evil Geniuses are holding. Oh my god, they know.
Chicken going for the auto play himself.
He's back inside the Radiant space. He's already taken down one of the tier 4s. And he's trying to get PPD, but Evil Genius is full calm and collected. They're holding the defense here again. If they can get Chicken here, it's going to be a spot. No! EHOME! 5 down! 1 buyback, and that's only the Warlock. It's only Mega Creeps and Warlock who could defend this. Evil Geniuses. Have they just done it?
That was a hold of a lifetime. EG, this team just does not quit. They're going to go down this mid lane. They're going to start with the illusions on Universe. This army by himself going to be able to do it, and this Axe in 30 short seconds going to be able to respawn. EHOME going to have to hold for 90 seconds without this jug. They're starting to make their way down. Are they actually going to be able to do this?
They're halfway through. They've crossed over the river. They're about to go high ground, but Beastmaster and Warlock are about to come back. Evil Geniuses, they can't end this game yet. They're going to try, though. They're going to try for the boots of travel and a divine rapier.
The all-in play.
They know this is the endgame scenario.
60 seconds without this jug. EHOME, can they hold EG? Confident they can.
Spear's coming up as well. The tier 4 being beaten on. It begins. The jump forward. The man already going on Fenrir. No chaotic offering, and Ice Blast and Dagon first. He'll take them out. EHOME. Fenrir wants back to the tier 4. The throw going down. The throw down to half HP. EHOME hits the back. Game 1 is over. Evil Geniuses. The impossible comeback made possible by EG.
I can safely say I've never seen something like that. EG held out for so long. No buybacks available, but with 3 heroes and all Dagons, they managed to